Words of our Divine Mother from the book Words of the Mother, Volume 14. Our Divine Mother says, "Do not take my words for a teaching. Always they are a force in action, uttered with a definitive purpose, and they lose their true power when separated from that purpose." Page 13. Our Divine Mother says, "How calm, noble, and pure is the splendor of the Divine's contemplation. To live in the Divine with a life quite new, a life solely made of the Divine, of which the Divine should be the sovereign Lord, and so all troubles will be transformed into serenity, all anguish into peace. We feel the Divine so living in us that we await events with serenity, knowing that His way is everywhere, since we carry it in our being. The Divine's glory transforms defeats into eternity's victories. Shadows have fled before His radiant brightness. The Divine's presence gives us peace in strength, serenity in action, and unchanging happiness in the midst of all circumstances. The Divine is the unalloyed happiness, the blissful felicity, but this felicity is perfect only when it is integral. The Divine is the sure friend who never fails, the power, the support, the guide. The Divine is the light which scatters darkness, the conqueror who assures the victory. The Divine alone is the support that never fails. The only response that never fails is the Divine's. The only love that never fails is the Divine's. Love the Divine alone, and the Divine will always be with you. The opinion of the Supreme Lord alone has importance. The Supreme Lord alone deserves all our love, and He returns it to us hundredfold. Take the Divine alone in your soul's confidence. Think of the Divine alone, and the Divine will be with you. A single occupation, a single aim, a single joy. That's the Divine. Concentration upon oneself means decay and death. Concentration on the Divine alone brings life and growth and realization. Without the Divine, life is a painful illusion. With the Divine, all is bliss. The ideal attitude is to belong only to the Divine, to work only for the Divine, and above all expect only from the Divine strength, peace, and satisfaction. The Divine is all merciful and gives us all that we need to lead us as quickly as possible to the goal. It is the Divine presence that gives value to life. This presence is a source of all peace, all joy, all security. Find this presence in yourself and all your difficulties will disappear. Day and night, constantly the presence is there. It is enough to turn silently inward and be detected. Remember always the Divine, and all you do will be an expression of the Divine presence. In activity and in silence, in taking and in giving, always the glad remembrance of the Thee. All our thoughts, all our sentiments will move towards the Divine as a river towards the sea. Our Divine Mother says, "Let all thoughts, all feelings, all actions, all hopes be turned towards the Divine and concentrated on Him. He is our only help and our only safety." Our Divine Mother says, "Yes, my child, it is quite true that the Divine is the sole refuge, and with Him is absolute safety." Next topic, the Divine and the man. Our Divine Mother says, "For those who are afraid of a word, This is what we mean by divine. All the knowledge we have to acquire, all the power we have to obtain, all the love we have to become, all the perfection we have to achieve, all the harmonious and progressive poise we have to manifest in the light and joy. All the new and unknown splendors have to be realized. The divine is indeed what you expect of him in your deepest aspiration. Question, sweet mother, what is God? For that our divine mother says God is the perfection that we must aspire to realize. The divine is the perfection towards which we move, and if you like, I shall lead you to him very willingly. Have confidence, says our divine mother. Every being carries within him the divine inhabitant, and although no being in the whole universe is as weak as man, none is as divine as he. The individual existence, says our divine mother, the individual existence is a canticle perpetually renewed, and the universe offers to the inconceivable splendor of the divine. With regard to the truth, we are all divine, but we hardly know it, and in us it is precisely that which does not know itself as divine which we call ourselves. Our worth lies only in the measure of our effort to exceed ourselves, and to exceed ourselves is to attain the divine. Human mediocrity is intolerable. We aspire for a knowledge truly knowing, and for a power truly powerful, for a love that truly loves. Suffocated by the shallowness of the human nature, we aspire to the knowledge that truly knows, the power that truly can, the love that truly loves. Question, who am I? Says the sadhak. For that the divine mother says the divine under many disguises. Next topic, relationship with the divine. Our divine mother says all is relative except the supreme. The supreme alone is absolute, but as the supreme is at the center of each being carries in himself his absolute. After all, it is very simple. We have only to become what we are in the depths of our being. There is nothing more beautiful than to unite with the divine consciousness. One is sure to find what one seeks, if one seeks it in all sincerity, for what one seeks is within oneself. None can say to the divine, I have known thee, and yet all carry him in themselves, and in the silence of their soul can hear the echo of the divine's voice. One can live the divine even though unable to express the divine. One can realize and be the divine's infinity though unable to define or explain the divine. For him who is in union with the divine, everywhere is the divine's perfect felicity. In every place and in every circumstance it is with him. Communion with the divine, for him who has it, all circumstances can truly become an opportunity for it. Our divine mother says the joy of perfect union can come only when what is to be done is done. To conquer the divine is a difficult task. I think I have not understood this sentence properly, says one sadhak. For this, our divine mother says, take conquer in the sense of acquisition or possession. You might say the conquest of the divine consciousness is a difficult task. Commentary, for human beings to become conscious of the divine and to possess his nature is difficult. As we progress and purify ourselves of our egoism, our friendship with the divine becomes more and more clear and conscious. Friendship with the divine, delicate, attentive and faithful, ever ready to respond to the smallest appeal. Closeness to the divine will always grow with the growth of consciousness, equanimity and love. Attachment for the divine wraps itself around the divine and finds all its support in him so as to be sure never to leave him. God cannot be taken by violence. It is only through love and harmony that you can reach God. Be in peace, my blessings are with you. Affection for the divine, a sweet and confident tenderness that gives itself unfailingly to the divine. Intimacy with the divine, completely surrender to the divine and total receptivity to his influence without any conditions to his intimacy. Intimacy with the divine in the physical is possible only for the one who lives exclusively for the divine, by the divine. Intimacy with the divine in the vital, only a pure, calm, and desireless vital can hope to have access to this marvelous state. Intimacy with the divine in the psychic, the natural state of the fully developed psychic. The Lord and his Shakti, God and his devotee, Father and his child, Master and his disciple, the beloved and the lover, the friend and the co-worker, the child and his mother. To give oneself to the divine, to receive and be the divine, to transmit and spread forth the divine, these are the three simultaneous movements which constitute our true relation with the divine.